Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Shalom, Hotep, Assalamu Allah. Peace to the black gods, peace to the black goddesses, peace to the black godlings. I'm your brother in the struggle for peace, truth, reality, freedom, justice, and equality, Brother Minister Alif-Allah. Beloved, I want to share with y'all today because it seemed to be not with people that know me or people that have been studying, but more like with people that don't know me, with the new jacks, if you will. I mean, basically, people don't understand my position. I'm not speaking for all the supreme angels, but I'm talking about my personal position that I have held for over 42 years now regarding Brother Minister Farrakhan, Muhammad. I'm going to intentionally, with a good niyat, violate and show and prove insubordination by referring to Farrakhan, Brother Minister Farrakhan, as the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan. The reason I'm saying that's insubordination is this. Many people are too young to know what the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan actually taught. I remember receiving the Final Call newspaper. I don't remember the year. It was back in, like, I would say around the early 1990s. The Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan had just came back from overseas. And out of respect, out of love, out of a sense of loyalty, some of the believers put up flyers or posters referring to Brother Minister Farrakhan as, quote, the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan. Me personally, I absolutely had no problem with that. Me personally, individually, I personally, in my literature, publicly, in my sermons, in my lectures and Jumars and temple services, I publicly was teaching that Brother Minister Farrakhan was the international representative of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings. But at the same time, I was not spooked out like some brothers and sisters in the past as well as the present. I always recognize the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan as the wisest one in our midst, the most inspiring one in our midst, the one that lifted the nation of Islam further than any other minister. This is not a diss or disrespect about any other minister. My personal minister was Brother Minister Jeremiah Shabazz from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Temple number 12. That was that's who I personally met up with. That's who used to come see me and talk to me one-on-one as his spiritual son. You know what I mean? But at the same time, my intelligence made it crystal clear that Brother Minister Jeremiah was not a Farrakhan. I absolutely love the Honorable Silas Muhammad, spiritual son of man. Silas, see, a lot of people's too young to understand what was going on back in the day, the squabble, the tapes part 1 and 2, Jabril Muhammad mentioned Farrakhan at the meetings. I heard all them tapes. I've read Muhammad Speaks. I've read Final Calls. I've read the 5% of newspapers. I read Minister Jeremiah Shabazz, Muhammad Speaks. Now, I read Brother Minister Levi Kareem's Muhammad Speaks. Now, it was different branches. There was countless newsletters in the Nation of Islam. There was some interesting times, if you will, And the thing was, it was just an individual's choice. I personally felt that if somehow, some naive way, I was young, I was like 17 years old, 18, I thought I could get the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan and the Honorable Brother Minister Salis Muhammad to unite. Because I seen the beauty and the benefit in both of their works. At that time, I did not understand just how deep the gap was between the two of them, But out of sincerity, my niyat, or my intention, was to try to unify the different branches of the Nation of Islam. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that the trunk of the tree is stronger than any of its branches. So I looked at the body of information. I looked at the divine and direct teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was greater than Brother Minister Farrakhan, Father-in-Law, formerly known as Clarence 13X, the Honorable Salis Muhammad, Brother Minister Jeremiah Shabazz, Brother Minister Levi Kareem, Brother Minister Nazir, Sister Malika, or any other wazir or minister in the Nation of Islam. We were taught to keep a law who came to person of Master Farad Muhammad, to my praises I do forever, and his first, last, and only messenger, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, out front. So, that was my niyat. That was my mission. That was my intent. How could we prevent civil war, prevent Yaqub's law of divide and conquer, weakening and dividing and conquering the Nation of Islam? How could we prevent COINTELPRO, J. Edgar Hoover's counterintelligence program, from disrupting, dismantling, and destroying the Nation of Islam from within, if we could not at least have operational unity? So that's what I was pushing for. And it was a lot of politics involved with all that. You know what I mean? Brothers that I love and respect, brothers that was my mentors. When I saw them go in a way, in a path, in a mythology that I differ with, I was like, nah, I'm sticking with the messenger's message in this age of mess. Because I'm not confused. Because I'm not following Brother Minister Farrakhan. Brother Minister Farrakhan, family, when he came back from the East and he saw those posters and flyers referring to him as the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan, he didn't like that. He didn't like that so much so that he publicly reprimanded the believers about that. And he brought up a beautiful theological point. I'm going to paraphrase it. It's been like 30, 40 years ago, but I still remember that jewel. He basically explained to us that when he came back from the East and came to Chicago, Illinois, he saw posters and flyers referring to him as the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he explained to the FOIs and the MGTs, he said, basically, I want to make my position very, very clear to y'all. In the court of justice, when you go before a judge, in the court, there's only one honorable one. That's the judge. You don't refer to nobody else in the court as the honorable or your honor or the honorable one. He said there's only one honorable one, and that is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, don't call him that, lest you deviate from the truth and then blame him for it later on. Exactly what's going on today, family. See, the minister is wise. The minister has more experience than us. The minister may not have been old enough to personally meet with Master Farrakhan Muhammad, but he personally served directly under the tutelage of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as a talib or student, you see. So he explained to us, don't call him honorable. We call the messenger of Allah Kareem, which means honorable. He's Kareem, or the honorable Elijah Muhammad. So when he said that, out of respect, the FOIs I was soldiering with, we did not call him honorable. We called him Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan. We called him, when he changed his name, we called him Brother Minister Farrakhan Muhammad. But we saw him as Allah, because we believe that all black men were gods. And surely he was the wisest God amongst us. We came in as just angels. We came in as servants, as protectors of the messenger's message in this age of mess. But we looked at him as the international representative of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is what was going on back in the 1980s, 90s, the year 2000, up to this present day and time in which we now live. But somewhere along the way, you know, because you got believers in different cities, you had, before the temples and all that, they just had like study groups, small study groups in different major cities. Like Philadelphia didn't have no temple. Philadelphia had a small study group. You had hardworking, dedicated ministers striving the best they could. You had brothers and sisters in the belly of the beast that didn't have no outside representative. So they had to make way and make do like a soldier on the front line. They had to eat out their helmets. Sometimes they had blood on their boots, you see. They had to try to grasp for any literature they could from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So that was the niyat, or the good intentions that the sincere believers had in this age of mess, trying to manifest the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Many people may not realize it, but back then, the majority of the former followers of the honorable Elijah Muhammad comprised the masses. They was with Imam Wafdi Muhammad. They were Bilalians. I mean, they did not believe in Master Muhammad. They did not believe in the honorable Elijah Muhammad. They definitely did not support Brother Minister Farrakhan. Some of them had malicious intent against the honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan. As such, the brothers I soldiered with, we had a zero tolerance when it came to disrespect of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan, the FOI, the MGT, or the Nation of Islam in general. The devils, the mentally dead will tell you, those supreme angels from the belly of the beast had a absolutely zero tolerance for disrespect of the messenger's teachings. Absolutely zero. I mean, in my soldiering, I have never, ever in my entire life seen a person disrespect the Nation of Islam, and we did not immediately respond. Immediately, extremely respond. That was just us. To us, that was normal. You see? Why? Because we knew our lessons. We studied our lessons because our lessons was our blessings. And one of our lessons is called 24 Principles of Islam by Messenger Elijah Muhammad, wherein he teaches us a Muslim respects all people and demands respect from all people. So to our enemies and to our critics, they know that if a FOI disrespect them, we with them. We against it like, yo, bro, you out of pocket. No, we don't do that. You see? Because now you playing with our faith. You playing with the sincerity of the true believers. The true believers believe as the messenger of Allah believes. You see, we will come see you about the teachers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes, a guard's weakest point is 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning. Who is there? The sleeping man cried. It's the angel of death. Let me inside. And once the man began to squeak and shout to his sleeping wife, please don't let these angels come take my life. It's a poem. You lived in this world 3 score more. This is how we was coming. It was fun to us. You see what I'm saying? It was fun to us. But it's like the golden age of hip hop. And you see like Rakim, Wu-Tang Clan, Queen Latifah, KRS-One. Now, I mean, you see this, you know, we got Paris, you got Cam out California, you got the Poor Righteous Teachers, you got Brand Nubian. You see these brothers and sisters trying to produce conscious, Erykah Badu, on and on and on. They trying to spark the people, and then all of a sudden you just see all this crazy hip hop start coming out. You're like, yo, what happened? The devil can still fool a Muslim in 2026, family. Sad to say. Why? How? By using Yakub's law of divide and conquer. You see, the believers became divided amongst themselves. So it literally got to a point where it's like, you got this fraction over here that they don't mess with Silas Muhammad Fruit. These brothers don't mess with G. Kaleem and the 5 Percenters. These brothers, they don't mess with the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan. These brothers don't mess with Brother Minister Silas Muhammad. These brothers don't mess with Brother Minister Levi Kareem. Now, Yakub's teachings is all in the ranks. We all divided amongst ourselves. You see? So we had to analyze, deputize, and scrutinize the time we was living through, and how could we survive? Back in the 80s, I wrote a book called The Light of Farrakhan Can't Be Hid. But one of the things that I personally held on to really had nothing to do with Farrakhan. It had more to do with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We're going to get into that. You see, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad basically taught us that we had 12 minor scientists and 12 major scientists. We had 23 scientists basically that wrote the history in advance, and the 24th one acted as judge over the other 23. I know in this day and time, some people think it's 25 scientists. That's nonsense. That's some grafted stuff that came from who knows who. COINTELPRO technology. But the 24 scientists wrote the history in advance. As such, if Brother Minister Farrakhan is not who he is, mathematically that meant the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not who he was. Mathematically speaking, that means that Master Farrakhan Muhammad was not who he was. But I know Master Farrakhan Muhammad was who he was. I know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was who he was. I know Brother Minister Farrakhan is who he is. You see? In order to understand the moves that's happening, you have to understand prophecy. See, everything that happened with Malcolm is in prophecy. Here you got Moses in the Bible with a right-hand man, one renowned in the temple. This man could speak better than anybody in the nation. And after serving Moses faithfully, he turned hypocrite on Moses. As a consequence, he loses his life. You turn the pages of prophecy. Here you had this man, Jesus. You got this sincere guy, Judas, but he want to really prove to people Jesus is who he is. So he figured, let me sell him out for 30 pieces of silver, not because I hate him, but because I want him to show and prove to the world what I know, what I believe, you see? These things the messenger teaches us in Message to the Black Man in 1965. Time repeats these things over again and again and again. The people wanted to think that Absalom could steal the followers over to himself. That's what Imam Mufti Muhammad thought. He didn't realize he was fulfilling prophecy. He didn't realize when you look at the history of King David and Absalom, Absalom is going to try to steal the affection of the people because he felt as though that he was better than his father. You see? Prophecy being fulfilled. Harun, is the high priest. Somebody had to fulfill that prophecy. Who in the nation of Islam fulfilled the prophecy of Harun or Aaron more than the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan? I'm waiting. Put it in the comments. I can't find anyone in the history or the historicity of the nation of Islam from Friday, July 4th, 1930 to the present of a person fulfilling the prophecies of Harun in the Quran or Aaron in the Bible more than Brother Minister Farrakhan. And that includes the golden calf, all that stuff. But what people don't understand is if you believe as the messenger believes, if you believe the black man is God, if you believe in the 24 scientists, you believe in that which they wrote, they the ones that wrote that Aaron is going to die a true believer and the high priest over the nation of Islam, and the people going to mourn him. It was written. Just as 8,400 before Dr. Yaqub Malik Shabazz was born, the 24 scientists wrote his history. They wrote, this dude, he gonna graft the devil. He gonna throw the babies to the wild animals. He gonna, give them to the cremator, burn them up. All that. He gonna have the nurses take needles, prick that brain. All that was in Yaqub's grafting, but the scientists wrote that. So Yaqub was the effect. They was the cause that wrote all this into reality. You see? So when you take the time to study prophecy, study the historicity of Moses, study the histories of Jesus or Yahshua or Prophet Muhammad, thoughts of peace be upon him. Study the history of Ali. Study the histories of Hassan, Hussein. Study the history of King David and Absalom. Study the histories of what happens after Moses and Aaron. Who is this character known as Joshua that's going to come? God is going to give Moses and Aaron a rod, and God is going to fight for Moses and Aaron, but then this new young boy come in, known as Joshua. And God is going to be like, in the past, I fought for Israel. You see? I gave Moses and Aaron the rod. It's like, nah, I'm going to give you the spear. I'm going to give you the shield. You're going to be on the offense sometimes, on the defense sometimes. You see? After Jesus and after Peter, there's this other young boy pop up, known as Paul. This guy from all these different prisons, and he just going to come with some other stuff. And they like, he wasn't at the table with the disciples. Who they going to try to ignore Paul. But God did something with Paul's heart. God revealed something to Paul through Paul. You see? So Paul is going to write more than Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Peter, all of them combined. So when we read the Theology of Time in 1972, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that when a man comes, he says he's a fulfiller. You got to look at his works. Islam is mathematics, family, and mathematics is Islam. So after Prophet Muhammad and Ali came the other martyrs. You see? We're in a deep struggle today. And I don't want people thinking that, one, I'm anti the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan just because I'm pro the first, last, and only messenger of Allah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Farrakhan and the messenger is on the same team. I know, you remember Farrakhan? He teaches down below, I'm still feeling alive. He teaches about Scientology and this. It's like, listen, just because you may not agree with your minister on everything does not mean that you don't agree with your minister. You think Democrats agree with everything Democrats say and do? You think Republicans agree with everything Republicans say and do? That's spooky, family. You see? It don't work like that in the real world. There are nuances. There are degrees with the law. There are gray areas. You see? So you as an individual, you have to use your lessons. What do our lessons teach? Our lessons teaches us that a Muslim is to use good judgment and discretion at all times. You have to be like, okay, well, do I believe this part? Do I know this part? Or do I believe that? You see? Is that going to stop me from supporting the struggle, the overall collective struggle for freedom, justice, and equality? Not me. I mean, I'm gonna keep it push. I'm going to like I've been doing. I've been shown and proven that I live, build, kill, and die for the nation of Islam. You see, I give all I have and all of my power for the nation of Islam. You see, that don't mean that I think the nation of Islam is perfect. That don't mean that every brother is going to get along with every brother, or every sister going to like every sister. I mean, that don't mean everybody going to agree with each minister. Some ministers you're going to be like, I don't believe nothing this Joker talk about. Some of the stuff he talk about, I believe. Half the stuff, most of the stuff I believe this brother, but a couple of things I'm like, I ain't working with all that. I mean, that shows human intelligence. That shows the nation of Islam will rise, fall, rise, and never fall again, family. The nation of Islam rose on Friday, July 4th, 1930. It fell when Master Farrakhan Muhammad left. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said you could put the whole nation of Islam in the back of a taxi cab. He said my own biological brother Khalat, who was the supreme captain, he told me that he was going to eat 1 grain of rice until I was physically dead. The messenger kept on living, and the supreme captain wound up in a situation where he had a stroke. And the messenger said, I went to the hospital to visit. I still love my brother. He said, when I came to see him, he said he couldn't even blink his eyes because the law was still with the messenger in this age of mess. Think that over. When it comes to the messenger's teachings, you always want to ask yourself, what did Elijah do? What would Elijah do? Think about that. Master Farrakhan Muhammad taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad the knowledge of himself. In the 1930s, what did Messenger Elijah Muhammad teach us that he did? It's in 1972 in the Theology of Time. The messenger said this is what he did. He said he used to go visit the Moorish Science Temples of America. He said he used to teach in the Moorish Science Temples of America. He said he always had respect and appreciation for Prophet Noble Drew Ali, as well as Marcus Messiah Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association. See, it makes sense to me. I get it, because if you're conscious, like I taught in the more science temples, like we put our circle, our 4 fingers and 3 fingers up, circle 7 prayers, and in fact, let me see something. Let me see if I can find something real quick for y'all. So y'all be on some spooky Yakub divide and conquer stuff. This the kind of stuff we had for decades, 40 years. I remember the Grand Sheik. I was out Pittsburgh. The Grand Sheik, they wouldn't get a Nation Islam, sir. They definitely ain't letting me get on the rostrum. They was scared to death of me. But we worked with the Moors. It's like they wouldn't get a Moors Ramadan. So we was like, don't worry about the devil. Y'all Ramadan with us. So the Moors would Ramadan with us. They wouldn't get a 5% Nation of Gods and Earth's Ramadan. They said, oh, they're a gang. He's like, don't even worry about that, God. Y'all gonna come Ramadan with us. You see? When I held temple services, we had unified services. I would have brothers from different branches of the Nation of Islam get on the rostrum and teach. Backstage, I'd be like, listen, I understand this brother might be with Salas, Levi Kareem, 5%ers, Pan-Africans, Black Panther Party, the Maroons, whatever. And here, we are a unified force. Teach your thing. If you don't have something good to say about somebody, don't say nothing about that. Just do your thing. Show and prove your teacher's teachings. You see? So it was nothing for us to have the Grand Sheik up on the rostrum at the Nation Islam service, and I'm sitting on the stage in the chair, giving him a standing ovation. I felt good hearing 5%ers getting up there building, teaching on the black man as God. I love the minister for Salas Muhammad. I used to live with that man, Brother Tahaka. I mean, I live with Tahaka, not the Moorish American. This is another talk. I would shout out to Brother Tahaka. I love you. You funny, brother, but my thing is you keep showing that fake Master for Muhammad. I can't ride with all that. Get your thing together, God. We could do some stuff. I mean, but but Salas Muhammad minister was Brother Tahaka. That used to build all day long. Now, I mean, so we had, when the devil was like, they ain't letting Brother Minister Mutaquan Ali inside the belly of the big, we getting Minister Mutaquan in here. I mean, and when the devil and his imps was like, no, they not letting them in, I was the one that was like, yo, let me do that. Let me type this up. I'm the one that sat right, ASDFJ sent that joint in, and we won. Yeah, let him in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like love. You know what I mean? Like when I came out to Brother Beast, I reported to Mosque number 12 to Brother Minister Rodney Muhammad. I mean, and the National Prison Reform Minister. Like, these is my elders, my mentors. I respect them. Now, I mean, I'm like, yo, ain't no love lost here. I mean, like, yo, do your thing. We're going to do our thing. We're going to make this thing happen. I mean, we ain't going to let the devil to stop us from doing the work. You see what I'm saying? But they had a vision. I had a vision. Now, I mean, you got to let a man do his own thing. Like the Bible, you got to let him grow under his own vine tree and fig leaf. You see? So I've been teaching what I've been teaching. I ain't never stopped teaching this here. Now, I mean, but I remember we used to, out of respect, I didn't want to get up on the rostrum, open up a name of the law, Canaan person, master. No, I would take and read the Circle 7 Holy Quran and be like, what I'm going to teach you on tomorrow? And I just find so many Jews here. I could tell you one of the crack Jews that I loved in this joint. He was like, basically teaching that man is a thought of a law. I was like, what did he just say? Man is a thought of a law made manifest. I'm like, oh yeah. Me and the Moors, we gonna get on real good. I mean, I'm like, I could see how the Honorable Elijah Muhammad explained that when he used to teach at the Moorish science temples, some of the older Grand Sheiks got with him, was like, you know, Elijah, we can't let you teach here no more because you be teaching that old ancient Egyptian wisdom, and the young people, they really ain't ready for all that. You know what I mean? See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Muhammad, they was teaching some math, some science. I mean, you know, so it was a little different than the more science temple of America teachings. You know what I mean? Which is natural. You know what I mean? So the Lamb like, all right, you know what I mean? You be your way, me be mine. I'm gonna go ahead and bow out respectfully, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep teaching, doing my thing. You know what I mean? And they kept teaching, doing that thing. You know what I mean? But it's like we were brothers of the same mind. We was like, we can't let our open enemies divide and conquer us amongst each other. We're all in a struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. We're all trying to teach Islam to our people. You see? So our people are diverse people. Some of them need to go to the church to learn. They be like, I ain't trying to hear this Muslim stuff. I'm not trying to be into no Islam. But they get crack at church. They get money at church. They get educated at church. They be like, we don't believe no white Jesus in here. I mean, I go to different churches right here in Coatesville. Shout out to my homie Larry. They don't believe in no white Jesus up in there. They believe in Christianity, but they be like, oh, we ain't working with no Christmas trees, Easter bunnies, white Jesus. We believe in the Bible. I mean, hey, that's what I'm saying. People are vibrating on their own level. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is to empower people. I'm the type that believe in the people. I believe in people power. I believe in not following me or thinking I'm infallible, but simply getting this information, getting other information, getting information on your own, and reaching your own conclusions and doing something for yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Take care of your family. Get money. Protect your family. Get politically conscious. Get some land to call your own. Do for yourself. Make it happen. Show and prove the black man is God. You see? That's what I live for. I mean, and my thing is, I'm not going to waste my time with the naysayers. I don't have the time to waste with people that's on some mediocre stuff, some trivial stuff. My thing is like, yo, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm taking care of my household, you know what I mean? My family, my friends, my inner circle. We building, we got love, respect, and unity amongst ourselves. It's like you can't let somebody come in your atom and split it up with some electron or some negative force. You got to keep and repel that negative stuff. You keep that crap out the cipher. I mean, only thing supposed to be in your cipher is the 5%, the proton, the poor righteous teachers, and the neutron, the neutral force. Those that worship that which they know not what. Because it's our job is to do what? We're poor righteous teachers. We're supposed to be teaching them, elevating them, making them conscious. The enemy, we like, yo, we repel you. Now, y'all come in the cipher. What happens? When the electron comes in with that proton and they clash, the atom splits and matter turns into antimatter. That which was seen becomes the unseen. Everybody go. So we don't want to see that destruction. Y'all don't want to see that destruction. Let's keep it respectful. Let's keep it moving. But for now, I say, as I always said, only the messenger's message will guide us through this age of mess. Peace and blessings, family. Love y'all. Love is an elevation of understanding of those who are original.